This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We continue in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. The minhag is that on July 4th you have a double header. That's the minhag in America. So we have to sort of get ahead a little bit for any time we miss in the summer. So we'll do it today. We're learning Siman Ches, and we are in Sif. We finished Sif Yadalid, but I want to review a few points. In Sif Yadalid we had three opinions. The opinion of the Mechaber is if you take off a talis, even with das to put it on, you have to make another bracha when you wrap yourself again. And in deference to that opinion, the Biur Halacha said, because there's a shita of the Mechaber that you always have to make another bracha, you should be Mechavin when you put on a talis, that if you should have to take it off, then you should be able to put it on again without a bracha. Then you had two shitas of the Ramah. The Ramah said, some say you do not make a bracha if you had in mind to put it on again, even if you were not wearing a talis katan. And there the Mishna Berura said, that's how the Achronim paskin. Then the Ramah brought another daya, that some say only when the talis remains on you, you do not make a bracha if the talis falls off. And there the Mishna Berura also said, that the Achronim paskin like the Yesharim. However, the Mishna Berura quickly clarified that the two Yesharims are not talking about the same scenario. The second Yesharim is talking about when you took off the talis stama. So if you took off the talis stama, then we say it's only if you had the talis katan on, then we could say it's like you had in mind to put it on again. However, if you had in mind explicitly to put it on again, then even if the talis katan was not on you, then you would not have to make another bracha. The Mishna Berura also said that if you took it off during davening, even stama, then it's like you had in mind to put it on again, even without wearing the talis katan. Fine. Let's see the Biur Halacha for a moment. Imhaya daitai. The Biur Halacha says, I see it's not good to change the time ever, but I didn't have I had a shiur this morning. The Biur Halacha says, I Mishna Berura maskonas achronim bezeh al kein sandoki shetov ezeh lemula masandak b'tzitz. Let's say you have a sandak. He's holding the kid to circumcise, and he puts on a talis. If the talis is baro lo yivarach alav, you don't make a bracha. V'matalis shaloi. If when you took it off you had in mind to put it again, you don't have to make another bracha, even if there's a shinai makam, like a milah was in the house. So if you had in mind, you could rely on the opinion of the Ramah, l'chayra, even if you were not wearing the talis katan, and certainly, we are wearing a talis katan. V'im talis shaloi. I'm sorry. If you didn't have in mind to put it on again, then it's not going to help even if the milah is makam tefillah. If when you took it off, you had no intention of putting it on again, then you have to make a bracha. If you took it off stam, then it's going to depend on whether you're wearing a talis katan. Toibim nishol of talis katan. Ein tzarich lachzorach al talis katan. Lav choyzim varach al b'chol gavni. That's really the only scenario of taking off a talis stama, where basically you took off a talis and then there's a milah. Now, if you knew about the milah and you knew you might get a kibbutz, that's probably your mechavein, at least for the possibility of putting it on again. If you took it off stama, you knew there was a bris, but you weren't really thinking about it, then it would depend if you're wearing a talis katan. Says the Biur Halacha, if you folded it up, it's like you had in mind explicitly not to wear it again, and then you would have to make a bracha under all circumstances. Okay. Let's see Sif Tezvav. So we're going to break up today's into two. We'll try to finish this page, and then we'll proceed. Sif Tezvav. Im nafla talisoy shlam miskan v'chayzim masad. This happens all the time. You're walking to get a sefer. That's your first problem. What do you need to get a sefer? It's davening. It's not learning. But anyway, you went to get a sefer, and you got caught on that little, that little corner between the table and the wall? It gets you every time. And it yanks off the talis. So, and you put it on again. Sarach levarich. Vushanaflakul. That's if the whole thing fell off. If the whole thing didn't fall off, Ruba, you still have a little bit remaining. Einoit sarach levarich. Now you know the reason why some people wear a gartel. This way, at least something sticks on if it falls off. Okay, says the Mishna Berura, Shaloi b'miskavin. Afilu madem paskina de beheser talisay adasach zira in tzarch levarich. But we hold like the Rama that if you're mechavein to put on the talis again, you don't have to make a bracha. So why over here do we say if it falls off, you have to make a bracha? This is worse. The nafla b'loy das. Because you didn't have anything in mind. When you take it off, but you're taking it off with your stipulation that you have in mind to put it on again. But here, it falls off. Mitzvah leaves. Initial of talis katan loy mahani. Even though we just said if the talis katan remains, and then you take it off stama, that's like you're mechanim to put it on again. That's when you take it off, not when it falls off. If, let's say, a person in the middle of learning, and they make a conscious decision, okay, now I need a break, but I'm going to go back to my learning, that's okay. But if you just fall into some shmuzarai with a guy, then you're falling into a bottomless pit. It's a conscious decision with a kavana to come back to something. You're much more attached than when you just fall into it. You fall into it, you're severing yourself. V'afilu nisho, fine. Tzarech levarich. Afilu im loiv shemiyad. Even if you put it on right away. He brings here in the Dirsha, what if it falls off in the middle of Shemona Esrei? You do a moedim, kidaboyle, and here goes the talis. So the Shulchan Aruch says later on, it's a hefsek, you can't put it back on. You can't put it back on. Vim avar v'chzir, but let's say you put it back on. Then you don't have to start from the beginning of the bracha that you're middle. You could continue where you're up to. Now, let's say it falls off in the middle of Shemona and other people put it on you. Even though the majority fell off. The Taz and the El Yarabah say if the majority fell off, you have to make another bracha. The Gra is inclined to say like the Taz as well. Everybody agrees if the only thing you caught is the thing in your hand after it got caught on that thing between the table and the wall, meaning even according to the Mechaber, that if a little bit stays on, that's a little bit stays on your body, not a little bit stays in your hand. The mitzvah leaves, she'ikr mitzvahs itaf hu baguf. The main wrapping is the body, not the hand, not the head. What if some stayed on your head? In other words, the whole thing fell off your body, and now you're just left with like a head. I guess then that's, even though the ikar atifa is the guf, but I guess the roish is something, the hand is nothing. You made a bracha, it fell out of your hand before you wrapped, and you picked up and you put it on, so then you didn't lose the bracha, because the bracha wasn't chal yet. The bracha is still waiting to be chal. Once the bracha is chal, and then it falls off, that's worse. Ein tzarich levar shinas. Next case. Va'afilu nifsulu az tzitziyosav. Let's say you made a bracha, and the tzitzis are puzzle. The strings are puzzle. The hole are puzzle. The strings by the hole are puzzle. Or everything, right? It's puzzle. And you had ready-made tzitzis and you quickly strung it together. You don't have to make another bracha again. Since you didn't do the mitzvah yet, that you were not mesiach das, they bring in the dirshu that later on we say by tefillin also, if you made a bracha and the kesher was nifsach, it's not a hefsek, because the tikkun is me'ein the mitzvah. Very interesting svara. Fixing tefillin is part of the mitzvah of wearing tefillin, so fixing tzitzis is part of the mitzvah of wearing tzitzis. K'may b'tefillin, l'kam l'simcha feis, yud beis, ayin shem b'tas, v'katan yud beis. U'mishalakach talis l'satef boi. Someone who took a talis to wrap, v'hischel l'varch alav, v'koidim sh'osim v'rach l'kchu mimenu. You said, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, and a guy comes along and he runs away with your talis. Happens, ma'asim b'chol yom. Talis snatchers. Certain neighborhoods, they're notorious for talis snatchers. The good thing is you have tefillin in front of you. Yachol l'sayim habracha asher kiddushanu b'tzoros v'tzivanu l'aniach tefillin v'yoytze b'zeh. He brings over here a case from the Seif of V'zois HaBracha. Someone has a fruit, and after he began to make a bracha, he realized, you know what? He has a pear. He didn't realize he already ate a plum, so he doesn't need to make ha'etz. So could you have pretzels? So you make a mezainos. No, Rabbi Yashiv says you can't do that. The Mishna Berura says if you can't make it on the talis, you can make it on the tefillin. He says it's different. Tefillin you have to wear. So since you have to wear it, it's not considered a major change of mindset because you're mechuyev to wear tefillin from the beginning. There's no chiyuv to eat pretzels. So if you ate a peach and you realize you don't have to make a bracha on the plum, you can't switch it to the pretzels. Because the Lord did not say that thou shalt eat pretzels. He did say you should wear tefillin. Lekach toiv, Siman kuf non gimel. Va'artzis achaim hiskim imay lahalacha. That you could finish up with tefillin. Okay, we'll hold over here for the first part of the double header. And then we'll, let's see, Sif, Tezayin, and Yud Zayin. Okay? Is that good?
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.